is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
A senator under fire. Risa Hontiveros now faces an ethics complaint over claims of a paid witness, a case that could shake both her credibility and the Senate itself. New bloodshed in Ukraine. Deadly strikes in Kyiv ignite condemnation from Europe and the UK, with President Zelensky warning that peace remains far out of reach. A rare trip abroad. North Korea's Kim Jong Un headed to Beijing to join Putin and Xi Jinping, an alliance that's sending a clear message to the West. Pressure mounts on Israel, with Egypt and Qatar pushing for a ceasefire after Hamas agreed to the latest proposal. Mediators warn it's Israel that's holding the deal back. A stinging rebuke from the United Nations. Secretary General Antonio Guterres calls Israel's military actions in Gaza and the West Bank a catalog of horrors as civilian deaths continue to climb. A show of force in Rio de Janeiro. Banco do Brasil employees and unions rallied to defend the institution, accusing far-right groups of political attacks and spreading misinformation. At the U.S.-Mexico border, parts of the El Paso wall are being reinforced and even painted black, a move critics call inhumane against migrants. And a global pop icon returns. After 7 years, Ariana Grande is finally hitting the road again, and fans are already buzzing about where she'll take the stage first. I'm Jayne Codnita, and Newsline World starts now. Senator Risa Hontiveros now finds herself answering to an ethics complaint, one that could test both her credibility and the Senate's resolve to police its own members. MJ Mondehar has more on this story.
Ako po yung witness, kinuhang witness ni Sen. Risa Hontiveros na nakatakip yung muka. Pero ngayon, hindi na sapagkat nagsasabi na ako ng totoo. Binayaran po ako ni Sen. Risa Hontiveros para mag-testify laban kay PRRD, VP Sara at kay Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy.
That video featuring Senate witness Michael Maurilio alias Rene went viral 2 months ago. Before that admission, he had testified against Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy and even dragged former President Rodrigo Duterte and Vice President Sara Duterte into the controversy. Because of this, attorneys Ferdinando Paso, Jing Paras, and Manny Luna filed an ethics complaint against Senator Risa Hontiveros. The complaint cites disorderly conduct based on alias Rene's claim that the senator bribed him to testify.
Itong si alias Rene, nagsabi siya na binayaran daw siya ng 1 million ni Senator Risa Hontiveros through her underlings to testify. Prior to that, nag-testify siya kasi she was asked to testify with some consideration.
It's in Article 6, Section 16, Paragraph 3. Yun po ang ating basehan dito sa aming ethics complaint.
Under the Constitution, the Senate has the power to discipline its own members, including suspension or even expulsion. But such a penalty requires the vote of 2/3 of the chamber.
Parating sinasabi ni Senator Risa Hontiveros, the Vice President should be accountable. But dapat naman kung may offenses ka rin, allegations of offenses, you are also accountable.
Hontiveros, for her part, says she is ready to face the complaint. She believes that it is meant to discredit her and insists the Senate should instead focus on bigger issues like investigations and flood control scam.
So you're not bothered? Bothered in the sense na ang dami-daming naming trabahong ginagawa dito sa Senate. May mga drama pa dyan, pero sige lang, hindi po kami magpapadistract dyan.
But the complainants maintain that Hontiveros should still be held accountable, regardless of parliamentary immunity. Alias Rene also claimed he was forced to reveal the alleged bribery, saying the senator had threatened him.
Ang atin naman, hindi naman kami sabi conclusive. Pero dapat may venue for which a senator should be answerable for their offenses. No? And sabi sa ating saligang batas, dapat ang Senado lang ang makadisiplin ng kanilang sariling miyembro.
Lahat ng sinabi ko at kasama ko doon na nag-witness sa Senado ay ginawa lamang ni Sen. Risa upang pabagsakin si Pastor at ang buong kingdom at kunin ang kanilang mga ari-arian. Ngayon po ay hinahanap at tinatakot ako ni Sen. Risa.
For now, the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges has yet to convene. Its members include Senators Marcoleta, Zubiri, Villanueva, Ejercito, and Soto, though the panel remains without a chairperson. For Government of Philippines, I'm Jayne Codnita, SMNI News.
Tonight, new tensions are flaring in the Russia-Ukraine war with deadly strikes in Kyiv drawing sharp condemnation from Europe and the United Kingdom and renewed warnings from President Zelensky that peace is nowhere in sight. This report from Angel Pastor.
In Ukraine's capital Kyiv, rescue operations are underway after a deadly wave of overnight strikes. Ukraine says Russia launched missiles and drones that hit more than 20 locations across the city. Explosions were reported around 3 a.m. Thursday, including at a 5-story building in the eastern part of Kyiv. Officials confirmed at least 18 people were killed, among them 3 children. Dozens more were injured, with 45 receiving treatment. Interior Minister Ihor Klimenko said 3 people were pulled alive from the rubble as search and rescue teams continue their work. President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the strikes, saying they prove Moscow has no interest in peace talks. Ukrainian officials added that Russia used ballistic and cruise missiles along with shaded drones in the overnight assault. Moscow's defense ministry, however, insisted its attacks were aimed at Ukraine's military-industrial facilities and air bases, not civilian targets. The European Union and the United Kingdom have also condemned the strikes, with both summoning Russian envoys after EU and British buildings in Kyiv sustained damage. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Angel Pastor, SMNI News.
In El Paso, the United States has begun reinforcing parts of its southern border wall, even painting it black to make crossings harder, a move drawing sharp criticism from migrant advocates who call it inhumane. Almar Forzuelo has the story.
The United States has stepped up security along the El Paso-Ciudad Juarez border, reinforcing sections of the wall and adding new deterrents following a visit by Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. National Guard units were seen patrolling the area while crews worked with cranes to strengthen the barrier. Officials also confirmed that the wall will be painted black to absorb heat, a move attributed to President Donald Trump aimed at making it harder to climb. But migrant advocates and church leaders in Ciudad Juarez condemned the measure, saying it will only increase suffering at the border.
Pero lo que nos preocupa realmente es que también cruzan niños y niñas adolescentes y realmente pues esa es la mayor preocupación porque se nos hace un poquito inhumano o mucho inhumano.
Pastor Javier Calvillo, a former shelter director, warned the changes will not deter migration but instead make it deadlier.
Nunca han podido frenar la migración y mucho menos estando con esos métodos violentos, que lo que pasaría es nomás la muerte de más migrantes.
The reinforcement comes despite United States officials supporting a decline in border apprehensions in recent months as the Trump administration continues its crackdown with raids and warning to migrants. Reporting for Newsline World, Almar Forzuelo, SMNI News.
Kim Jong Un is heading to Beijing for a rare appearance alongside Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping. Details of this report from Kim Sung.
North Korea's Kim Jong Un is heading to China next week for a rare appearance at an international gathering. State media reports the North Korean leader will attend a military parade in Beijing, marking Japan's World War II surrender. China's foreign ministry confirmed that few Western leaders will take part, but Russian President Vladimir Putin and Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico are expected to be there. Experts say it's unusual for Kim to join such a Victory Day ceremony. Yang Moo-jin of the University of North Korean Studies notes this could be the first time Kim meets Putin China's Xi Jinping, and Vietnam's Communist Party chief all at once. Yang added the move could be part of Kim's push to boost his global stature and possibly strengthen ties with Beijing and Moscow as they face growing cooperation between the United States, South Korea, and Japan. This is Kim Sung, your global citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Coming up, pressure mounts on Israel with Egypt and Qatar pushing for a ceasefire after Hamas agreed to the latest proposal. Mediators warn it's Israel that's holding the deal back. A sting rebuke from the United Nations. Secretary General Antonio Gutierrez calls Israel's military actions in Gaza and the West Bank a catalog of horrors as civilian deaths continue to climb. Newsline World will be back after this break.
In 2005, Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy founded the Sunshine Philippines movement. A mission rooted in love for nature and nation. It began as an environmental and humanitarian initiative to reforest Mount Apo, once barren, now a thriving and beautiful place. Through his initiative, thousands of trees have been planted across the Philippines, bringing life and hope to communities. His advocacy, One Tree, One Nation, is also a movement that calls for unity in preserving the environment. Because every tree planted is a step towards unity, healing, and a greater future. Join One Tree, One Nation.
Children will grow up and bring the joy, the love, the peace, and compassion to the whole world. We only have one planet. We only have one Earth. And I hope that this new generation of children that we have reached out will become millions and billions and bring peace on Earth. Bring peace to humanity.
A catalog of horrors. That's how UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is describing the war in Gaza as he raises alarm over mounting civilian deaths and a deepening humanitarian disaster. Joy Tabanao has more on this report.
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres condemned Israel's military operations in Gaza and the West Bank, warning of catastrophic humanitarian consequences as fighting escalates in Gaza City.
I also want to say a word about the unfolding tragedy that is Gaza. Unbelievably, civilians are facing yet another deadly escalation. Israel's initial steps to military take over Gaza City signals a new and dangerous phase. Expanded military operations in Gaza City will have devastating consequences.
The UN chief stressed that civilians must be shielded from violence and outlined the scale of the humanitarian collapse in Gaza.
Civilians must be protected. And let's be clear, the levels of death and destruction in Gaza are without parallel in recent times. Famine is no longer a looming possibility. It's a present-day catastrophe.
He also reported that hundreds of UN workers have been killed while trying to deliver aid.
Indeed, 366 UN personnel have tragically been killed. Day after day, our efforts are being blocked, delayed, and denied.
Turning to the West Bank, Guterres said settlement expansion and Israeli policies are worsening the situation.
In the West Bank, the situation is also profoundly alarming. Military operations, settler violence, demolitions, and discriminatory policies are driving displacement and deepening vulnerability. The relentless expansion of settlements is fracturing communities and cutting off access to vital resources.
For Antonio Guterres, the message is clear. Without immediate intervention, what he calls a catalog of horrors in Gaza could spiral into an even greater catastrophe. Joy Tabanao, your citizen correspondent reporting for Newsline World.
Regional powers are pressing harder for a truce in Gaza as mediators warn Israel's stance is blocking progress. More on this report with Verhil Parba.
Egypt and Qatar are doubling down on their mediation push for a Gaza ceasefire, even as they accuse Israel of blocking progress.
سوف نستمر في جهودنا وسوف نستمر في ضغوطنا وسوف نستمر في تواصلنا مع الأطراف الإقليمية والدولية المعنية لممارسة الضغط الكامل على الجانب الإسرائيلي حتى يقبل هذه الصفقة التي تنبني على مقترح المبعوث الأمريكي ستيف ويتكوف.
Abdulati also stressed Cairo's firm stance, rejecting any attempt to forcibly move Palestinians from their homes.
ونؤكد مرة أخرى أن هذا الأمر يمثل خطا أحمرا لن نقبله ولن نسمح به بحدوثه. وهذا التهجير مرفوض تماما تحت أي ذريعة وتحت أي مسمى أيا كان.
From Doha, Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani said the ball is now on Israel's court after Hamas already agreed to the latest proposal tabled August 18.
اليوم وصلنا إلى مرحلة ننتظر فيها ردود من الجانب الإسرائيلي بعد السعي يعني الذي كان بشكل مكثف في الأيام الماضية للوصول إلى أرضية مشتركة لوصولا للاتفاق للإفراج عن الرهائن والمحتجزين وتبادل الأسرى ووقف إطلاق النار تمهيدا لإنهاء الحرب، ولكن للأسف قبلت هذه الجهود بمزيد من التجاهل.
He also called for global pressure on Israel, warning that civilians are paying the highest price.
وبإذن الله نحن على أمل أن نصل إلى اتفاق في أسرع وقت ممكن، ونطالب هنا المجتمع الدولي للضغط على إسرائيل لوقف هذه المجاعة على أقل تقدير.
The conflict began on October 7, 2023 when Hamas attacked Israel, killing more than 1,000 people and taking more than 200 hostages. Gaza's health ministry reports at least 62,000 Palestinians killed and almost 160,000 injured in Israeli operations since then. This is Verhil Parba, your citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Journalists on the ground in Gaza are describing horrifying scenes after Israeli strikes hit Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, leaving 5 of their colleagues dead. Footage from Thursday shows reporters receiving treatment, some with amputations, others injured by shrapnel. The hospital itself sustained visible damage.
جاءت الضربة الأولى والتي كانت مخصصة لكاميرا لايف لصالح وكالة رويترز للأنباء. بما أني أنا أعمل لصالح وكالة رويترز فكنت مجبرا أن أذهب لأرى الحدث وأحاول أن إنقاذ زميلي الشهيد حسام المصري. لكن عندما صار الحدث عرفت بأن هذا المكان هو المخصص لكاميرا اللايف، ومن ثم انطلقت إلى مكان الحدث. صعدت الدرج وإذا بحسام المصري مصور وكالة رويترز للأنباء قد فارق الحياة بشكل كامل. هنالك عدد من المواطنين الآخرين كانوا موجودين في الحدث. تم رفع الكاميرا، جاء جهاز البث المباشر وعرفنا بأنه تم استهداف المكان بشكل مباشر. في هذه اللحظة عدد كبير من رجال الدفاع المدني، عدد كبير من المسعفين، عدد كبير من الصحفيين كانوا موجودين لتغطية الحدث. تفاجأنا بالانفجار الثاني، هذا الانفجار الضخم الذي لم يسبق أن تعرضنا له في مثل هذا مواقف. تعرضنا لإصابات، تعرضنا لانفجارات، لقصف مجاور، لكن بالطريقة التي تم استهدافنا بها لم تكن مسبوقة بصراحة.
ما كنت شايف حاجة ولا سامع حاجة أولها. بعد دقيقة تقريبا بدأت أشوف، لقيت معاذ جنبي ومريم فوق رجلي، ولقيت أحمد أبو عزيز جنبي، ومحمد سلامة مرمي نص جسمه مرمي على الدرج ونصه جوا، كان بيستفرق، فكانوا كلهم مستشهدين تقريبا. فأول إشي خطر في بالي إمي، على السريع ذكرت إمي في الموضوع، لأنه يوم الاستهداف بالضبط كان لأختي مستشهدة شهر، فصرت أزعق يما الحقيني. كنت مش قادر، كان نزيف بشكل مبالغ فيه. كانت رجلي تقريبا بس أكمل أوعية مسكاها، تقريبا قعدت من 7 ل 10 دقايق وأنا بنزف، قبل ما إجا الطاقم الطبي وشاب قدروا يسحبوني وطلعوني نزلوني على العناية.
Five journalists were among 20 people killed in the strikes. The Israeli army confirmed carrying out the attack, expressed regret for the casualties, but denied targeting journalists, calling 6 of those killed terrorists. As the International Criminal Court prepares to move forward with its confirmation charges hearing, Senator Robin Padilla is stepping up his defense of former President Rodrigo Duterte, calling for unity among Filipinos and stressing that politics should take a back seat when a countryman is detained on foreign soil. This report from MJ Mondihar.
Senator Robin Padilla is confident that the International Criminal Court or ICC will grant former President Rodrigo Duterte's request for interim release. If approved, Duterte would be placed under house arrest, giving his family the chance to personally attend to his health.
Hinihingi natin yung interim release. Inaasahan ko talaga yun. Kasi kasama naman yun nung binasahan si FPRRD, sinabi yun nung judge na meron talagang interim release.
Duterte's legal team says there is already a country willing to host the former president once the request is granted. Reports also indicate that the former president has lost significant weight inside the ICC detention facility due to the loss of appetite. Unlike in the Philippines, where rice and flavorful dishes are staples, meals in the Netherlands are simpler. Bread and cheese for breakfast and lunch, and potatoes and vegetables and meat for dinner.
Ako, hoping. Kasi ilang buwan na, 5 buwan na doon si Tatay Digong.
The senator is set to attend gatherings in The Hague during Duterte's confirmation hearing this September.
Kahit na binabati ko siya 24 hours, okay lang. Ako naman talagang naniniwala ako na si Digong, Tatay Digong, ang isa sa masasabi kong pinakamagaling na Pangulo ng Pilipinas.
Padilla stressed that the Filipino people themselves have felt the changes brought by the former chief executive. This explains why millions of Filipinos around the globe continue to support him.
Kahit na sinasabi na ako ay tuta niya, ako ay aso niya, wala po kayong magagawa. Talagang sabihin nyo na kung ano yung gusto nyong sabihin. Pero ako po'y naniniwala talaga na nakaramdam ang taong bayan ng pagbabago noong panahon niya.
And just weeks before the ICC's confirmation of charges hearing, Padilla had his message for Duterte's critics.
At doon naman po sa mga kababayan natin na hindi man kayo Tatay Digong, isa lang po ang paalala ko. Hindi man tayo parehas ng kulay, isa lang ang totoo. Isang Pilipino ang nakakulong sa banyagang bansa. Ito ay malaking kalungkutan sa atin. Dapat po nating namnamin na dapat ang Pilipino, kung ikukulong, dapat sa bayan natin.
For Godmobile of Philippines, I'm Jay Mondihar, SMNI News.
For latest sports update, in a stunning move just a week before the NFL season, the Dallas Cowboys have traded star pass rusher Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers in a record-breaking $188 million deal, while former Celtics champion Kendrick Perkins is speaking out, accusing Shaquille O'Neal of bullying during their lone season together in Boston. More on this with Carlo de la Peña.
Just days before the NFL season kicks off, the Dallas Cowboys have traded defensive superstar Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers in a blockbuster move. Parsons is set to sign a 4-year, $188 million contract, making him the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history at $47 million a year, according to NFL Network. In return, Dallas will receive 2 first-round picks and Pro Bowl defensive lineman Kenny Clark. The deal closes a chapter on a bitter contract standoff between Parsons and the Cowboys, who drafted him in 2021. The 26-year-old has already earned 4 Pro Bowls and 2 All-Pro honors, but was entering the final year of his rookie deal. Parsons will make his Packers debut on September 7th against the Detroit Lions, before facing his former team in Week 4 at Lambeau Field. Meanwhile, on his Road Trippin' podcast, former Celtics center Kendrick Perkins recalled a 2010 locker room fight between teammates Delonte West and Von Wafer. Perkins claimed Shaquille O'Neal egged it on, urging Wafer to keep fighting even though he clearly didn't want to. While O'Neal's Hall of Fame resume includes 4 championships, a 2000 MVP, and 15 All-Star selections, Perkins says not everything off the court was positive. He described Shaq's action as bullying, insisting Wafer only wanted to play basketball. That same season, Perkins was traded to Oklahoma City, while O'Neal retired after Boston's 56-26 campaign. Reporting for Newsline World, this is Carlo de la Peña bringing you the latest sports news.
After the break, a show of force in Rio de Janeiro, Banco do Brasil employees and unions rallied to defend the institution, accusing far-right groups of political attacks and spreading misinformation. And a global pop icon returns. After 7 years, Ariana Grande is finally hitting the road again, and fans are already buzzing about where she'll take the stage first. Newsline World will be back.
In 2005, Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy founded the Sunshine Philippines movement. A mission rooted in love for nature and nation. It began as an environmental and humanitarian initiative to reforest Mount Apo, once barren, now a thriving and beautiful place. Through his initiative, thousands of trees have been planted across the Philippines. bringing life and hope to communities. His advocacy, One Tree, One Nation, is also a movement that calls for unity in preserving the environment. Because every tree planted is a step towards unity, healing, and a greater future. Join One Tree, One Nation.
In the spiritual, you don't have to have a doll in order to become a witch. When you psychologically hurt someone, you are a witch. You know how a witch is hurt spiritually? A cold shoulder, mental abuse, physical abuse is witchcraft. Soul winners are not like that. Soul winners are winning souls through love, peace and joy, meekness, gentleness, goodness, kindness. Whether you are on the first, second, or third level of spiritual growth, we are all participating in the same body. We have a care for everyone in the body. Whether you are part of the feet, which is the lowest of all, whether you are in the hand, or whether what part you are, one to another, there is participation of love. That's why Jesus Christ said, love one another, that the world may know you are my disciples.
Employees and union leaders of Banco do Brasil staged a demonstration in Rio de Janeiro earlier this week, defending the institution from what they call politically motivated attacks and misinformation campaigns linked to far-right groups and allies of former President Jair Bolsonaro. This report. Outside the bank's headquarters, workers, union members, and employee associations carried banners and chanted slogans stressing the importance of Banco do Brasil to the country's economy and social programs. Union leaders warned that the spread of false information targeting the institution risks undermining Brazil's financial stability and weakening public banks.
Os ataques promovidos pelo governo Trump que tem tentado interferir, inclusive, no sistema, no funcionamento da democracia brasileira, e também o movimento que a extrema-direita aqui no Brasil tem feito, inclusive divulgando notícias falsas, estimulando o saque no Banco do Brasil com informações que não são verdadeiras e que visam, de fato, desestabilizar a economia.
Ferreira further compared recent disinformation efforts to global far-right tactics aimed at undermining democracy.
Agora mesmo nós vemos Trump fazendo lá, tentando tirar uma juíza. Vemos em outros países também a mesma coisa. E aqui a campanha, enquanto eles tentam distrair a sociedade com as fake news, na verdade estão trabalhando no Congresso e estão trabalhando para fazer uma maioria de senadores no ano que vem e assim preparar um golpe no pós-Lula.
Union leaders also linked the hostility towards the bank to Brazil's participation in the BRICS bloc, which seeks to reduce dependence on the US dollar in international trade.
E o Brasil faz parte dos BRICS. E isso é uma ameaça, a ameaça de mudança de moeda internacional, do dólar deixar de ter importância. Então tudo isso é perda de poder financeiro e político dos Estados Unidos.
They emphasized that Banco do Brasil remains a profitable institution central to national development, urging stronger protection for public banks. The Brazilian prosecutor's office has reportedly asked federal police to investigate the circulation of fake news on social media, including posts by Eduardo Bolsonaro and other right-wing figures. The UK and Japan are stepping up their military partnership with plans for Japanese fighter jets to deploy to Europe and the UK. and a joint push to develop next-generation stealth aircraft through the Global Combat Air Program. Eric Carrillo tells us more.
British Defense Minister John Healey met his Japanese counterpart, General Nakatani, in Tokyo on Thursday, where both sides renewed their commitment to strengthening defense cooperation through the Global Combat Air Program, or GCAP.
英国がインド太平洋地域の平和と安定に積極的に貢献をする英国のコミットメントを示すということとともに、日米安保、そして防衛協力の一層の強化に貢献をする取り組みであると評価をしております。
Haley highlighted what he described as a deepening partnership, pointing to new deployments and shared projects.
It was a privilege for me to meet with Prime Minister Ishiba this morning as we reflected on our two countries now being in a golden age of defense cooperation.
Both ministers discussed advancements in joint defense projects, including equipment and technology exchanges.
これをはじめとする防衛装備、並びに技術協力の進展についても意見交換を行いまして、これらの協力を通じてこれは一層ですね、進化をさせていきたいということで一致をいたしました。
Haley also announced upcoming Japanese fighter jet deployments to Europe and the UK.
And for the first time soon, Japanese F-15 fighters will deploy to Europe and to the UK.
He further underlined the significance of GCAP initiative launched by Japan, the UK, and Italy in 2022.
GCAP program demonstrates this industrial collaboration makes us stronger together militarily and stronger together economically. And it will lead to the thousands of new jobs in Japan, in UK, and in the third partner nation, Italy.
The program aims to develop a sixth-generation stealth fighter in response to growing regional and global security challenges. In July, the three founding members announced they were considering Saudi Arabia's request to join the initiative. Eric Carrillo, your citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. welcomed key members of the United States Senate Armed Services Committee, or SASC, during a courtesy call at Malacanang Palace on Thursday, underscoring the Philippines' commitment to further strengthening its defense and security partnership with the United States. The U.S. congressional delegation in Manila from the 27th to the 29th of August was led by SASC Chairman Senator Roger Wicker, a Republican from Mississippi, and Senator Deb Fischer, a Republican from Nebraska, accompanied by U.S. Ambassador to the Philippines Mary Kay Carlson. Marcos expressed his appreciation for the visit and the continued support of the U.S. government, particularly in modernizing the armed forces of the Philippines as the country faces growing regional and global security challenges. In response, U.S. Senator Wicker thanks Marcos for the warm welcome and highlights the significance of the bilateral relationship, describing it as one of the most important and steadily growing in terms of closeness and cooperation between the two nations. The visit comes as both countries continue to deepen defense and security ties under the Mutual Defense Treaty, the Visiting Forces Agreement, and the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement. After a 7-year hiatus from the road, pop powerhouse Ariana Grande is stepping back into the spotlight with a global return to live music. Her highly anticipated Eternal Sunshine Tour is set to kick off in June 2026. And for international fans, London will be the only stop outside North America. Meanwhile, British pop star Jessie J has announced she will be canceling and rescheduling several tour dates to undergo a second round of surgery as part of her ongoing cancer treatment. Here's Andrea Santos for Showbiz News.
Ariana Grande is officially back and ready to hit the stage. The pop superstar and Oscar-nominated actress just announced her first tour in 7 years, the Eternal Sunshine Tour, named after her 2024 album. It kicks off June 6, 2026 in Oakland, California, and wraps with 5 huge shows at London's O2 Arena on August 15, 16, 19, 20, and 23. UK fans can grab pre-sale tickets September 16, with general sales on the 18th. Grande's last global trek was the 2019 Sweetener World Tour. Since then, she's made her mark in Hollywood, earning an Academy Award nod for her role as Glinda in Wicked. She'll reprise the role in the sequel this November. The new tour stops in major cities like Los Angeles, Brooklyn, Atlanta, and Chicago, plus Montreal and Florida. For Ariana, it's more than a comeback. It's a new era of sound, style, and sunshine. Singer-songwriter Jessie J is putting her health first, postponing her European tour and canceling US dates as she prepares for a second surgery related to breast cancer treatment. The 37-year-old star, who had a mastectomy earlier this year after an early cancer diagnosis, says the procedure isn't too serious but must happen before year's end, clashing with her tour schedule. Jessie has been candid about her journey, using her platform to raise awareness and encourage early detection. Fans have rallied behind the singer, who says the music will return once she's fully healed. This is Andrea Santos, your citizen correspondent, bringing you the latest showbuzz.
A young figure skater has proven that creativity and joy can be just as powerful as skills on the ice, winning medals and millions of fans worldwide with a routine that's anything but ordinary. Val de Vinagracia has more.
Here is Chicken Jockey from Minnesota.
For Katerina Suamnig, figure skating is usually about elegance and grace. But at the recent United States Figure Skating National Showcase in Detroit, she traded in her swan-like poise for a feathered twist, gliding across the ice in a full inflatable chicken jockey costume. The light-hearted performance, inspired by a reference from the upcoming Minecraft movie, was more than just comic relief. Katerina's poultry in motion routine wowed the crowd and impressed the judges, earning her both a gold and a bronze medal. When she later shared the performance on Instagram, it didn't just stay within the skating world. It went viral. The video has been viewed more than 14 million times across platforms, drawing thousands of comments from fans around the globe who praise her creativity, confidence, and joy. Perhaps it's no surprise that Katerina's program was set to the empowering anthem, Holding Out for a Hero, because for many who've watched her fearless display, she's become exactly a reminder that sports can be fun, imaginative, and inspiring all at once. Reporting for Newsline World, this is Val de Vinagracia, SMNA News.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the sun. Guard your mind, soul, and heart, that they will remain upright in the sight of God. And that's all for this edition of Newsline World. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, I'm Jayne Codnita. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
This is SMNI News Channel,
Truth that matters.